Yep. Yep.
It is the 2nd of January, 2020. Stand up. So, Lauren, go ahead.
Lawrence Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia. I was going to say I didn't do anything, but in fact, I spent a fair bit of time with a book I got on Kindle. I think it was free or almost free, called Impractical Projects in Python. It's quite good in that they're difficult text problems. Like there's a palindrome. I'm working on the palindrome chapter right now. So using Python functions like slice to read a word forwards or actually go through a dictionary of say 60,000 or whatever words and find palindromes and then palindrome sequences of 2. So it's and then they work through all the ways to improve and optimize the code. So it's pretty cool. So I did do that. Aside of that, I'll go in the coming week. Not much. I'm in Vancouver selling old prints at an antiques flea market, not roadshow, flea market, on Sunday, and so that's taken all my time. I didn't want to do it this soon, but they only have them a couple of times a year, and it's cheap for tables. It's cheaper than most antique shows, and there was a really good. I had 6 people who wanted to be informed of the next time I was there, so I emailed them, including dealers and collectors. So I figured I don't want to pass that up, given that I need money in the next 6 months. So, or I want to get to work and clear out the place. So that's kind of the block, and that. Also, for running, I'm tired of having the big phone weigh me down. So I got a knockoff smartwatch, just like I'm the knockoff guy. So I got a knockoff smartwatch, and it's similar to my knockoff GoPro. So it's great, but the app comes with it, so you can use the smartphone to type things into it. Is buggy as anything, and I'm gonna have to work around it. So I just hit on that, and I can't enter my passwords or account because it does give you a little keyboard, but you would have to have fingers the size of an ant to enter passwords and accounts. I couldn't even put the account ID, and it doesn't seem to even allow me to see the account ID as I type it in. So I'm working on that. So that's another thing that I want to get going, because when I run, I don't want to carry the phone. So I'm thinking maybe somebody could. I don't know if anyone else has the experience. So the smartwatches are really new. Even the pretty established smartphones, it appears there's problems in all the things that they're supposed to do in the software. Probably except the iPhone. So that's it for me.
Okay, it's Michael Wolchuk in Saskatoon, Canada, although I'm not presently in Saskatoon. Last week, I didn't really get much done. I didn't go to the meeting. I didn't post anything. I did go through the Make magazine. I got a Make magazine for Christmas, and there is an AI-driven car, the little cars, scale cars. That the project was interesting in that they could figure out how to go around a track on their own and not run into each other and stuff. I think you had talked about that last week, or the week, or probably 2 weeks ago, I guess. Anyway, I'll be doing a little bit more investigation on that. I still have a bunch of stuff that, I I didn't. That's not the latest make, obviously. The one before that. And I think that's about it. I got no blocks. So back to you, Lauren.
Is that the one with the cats?
Yes, it's the one
The
with
cat
cats.
on the cover. Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. I think I did. I went through it all, but I don't recall the car thing.
I'll go look it up while you're gonna give
Yeah.
your report.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm giving myself a 4, and the team a 7, and process improvement. I'm still interested in the video, but I haven't done much on the video stuff. That's kind of that was the last one. So no new process improvement, but just reminding about the video editing.
Let's see
And
if I
that's
can
it for
figure
me.
this out. So that's the one.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got yourself
Okay.
robocars.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm sure I looked at it.
So it looks like they've got probably $300 worth of stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure you can read that on the screen, but sub $200 visual odometry and simultaneous localization, sub $100 LiDAR, sub $100 CUDA
Yeah.
CPU,
Yeah.
Linux CPU board, and the integrated vision camera. So. Looks like it's going to be. Oh, wait a second. Sort of looks like we're back, maybe. Still says it's recording. I wonder what it's recording now. Anyway. Lauren, you are still muted, in case you didn't know. So do you have anything you would like to talk about in Crosstalk? Okay, Lauren, I can see your mouth moving, but you're still muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Unless you know something about knockoff smartwatches, or
I was going to suggest that you use a stylus. The stylus for the old Samsung phones was very pointy.
Right.
Might be small enough.
Yeah. I was thinking of that, or just put something on the end of a chopstick or something. Yeah, chopstick might work.
I think they're capacitive, so you might or something. So that.
Oh, I'm having audio. Your audio's cutting out again.
Okay. Yeah, and yours is cutting out. It's probably the communication on my end.
Right.
I'm on a satellite link, so it's not that great.
Right.
I think it might have to, if you put something on the end of a chopstick, you might have to run a wire down the chopstick, because I think.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it has to be warm. Yeah.
No, it has to change capacitance when you touch it, because that's how it can tell where you.
So a tiny wire, or a like from a stripped off wire, the way they
like
do
the
with
tip of
those
a
gloves.
pen.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll be fine.
Oh yeah, an empty pen. That could work.
Well, as long as it's not writing on your screen, I guess. But
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking of that. Yeah. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, Make. Did you buy it at the store or did you subscribe?
my wife bought it for me, so she bought it at the store.
Right. Right.
I think I'm going to subscribe to Make and to Circuit Seller because I haven't read Circuit Seller for quite some time.
Cool.
And I don't want this stuff to go away, so I got to support it, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Me too. That's kind of the thought. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's especially Make with it disappearing, getting rid of all their staff, announcing the shutdown.
That was sort of a wake-up call, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I should be free, much freer next week. So then I'll be working on a longer term antique stuff. So that'll yeah. So I should be quite a bit freer next week, and I'm still interested in ramping up for the next few months. And I've actually been reading about SQL and just some things I want to do. So I told you before, I want to teach a course on how to make money and travel for somebody who's at some point in any career who wants to, because it's still kind of open in my mind, data. And there's been iterations and iterations of various things saying it's professionalizing, it's getting hard and everything. But the fact is, nobody really wants to work. A lot of people don't really want to work with data once they see how much on the hook you are if you do it, and how desperate people are for data. And it's like it's not suited to everybody.
I'm gonna say something that might offend anyone with an MBA, but the data that we see when I'm working, they're desperate for large amounts of data. They're desperate for accurate data, but they're not willing to do the work to select the data. They're not willing to do the work to prove that the data is valid. So
Right.
pretty much anybody that hands them a spreadsheet, they just believe it and then off they go. Really quite disturbing because they actually make decisions that affect people in the real world with this data, right?
There's endless work with bad data. You could work for lifetimes, and it's not going away with AI or anything else because
well,
data
not for a while anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could convince people to do just one thing, it would be to check the data that they are using. Because it makes such a mess when you don't prove your data.
Yeah.
Anyway, I should get off my soapbox.
You're preaching to the choir here. But it's like, I find it really interesting. Like I couldn't stand banking because it was so boring. People pay out money and money comes in, and particularly banking, it's not even a product. So it's all it is money in, money out. Compared to healthcare, which has the most complicated data in the world, but I just loved it because it was so interesting. So healthcare, you've got a longitudinal thing of a person getting having a history, and then you got drugs, you got visits to the doctor, you got other encounters. It's like rich, and like the data textbooks, and then most of the data is just business data. So the most you have is a product, a customer, and everything. And so it was way beyond what most data texts and so forth describe. It was like it crushed some, systems like Cognos and business objects. It was really, really interesting.
The amount of data that you can collect is so high, and then if you show the data to 4 different experts, you'll get 4 different answers. So you can't really apply AI to it quite yet, because the AI has to learn from somebody or something, and the experts don't agree usually.
Yeah.
Which I find just a little disturbing, by the way.
Yeah, right. Oh, it is. I mean, well, it is, because you go to different doctors and you get different answers.
So if you're going to fix me, shouldn't there be one right answer?
Yeah. And so it's like luck of the draw, as well as you can do research and everything. Then oh man, there's things out there that just never get developed that are really good, but for various economic or other reasons they don't get developed. So it's it really in terms of personally, it's totally disturbing. I have plenty of experience, and so you do the best you can. You make the decisions with the available information, like everything else. But it has more consequences. More consequences.
Unfortunately, the one of the decisions you have to make is whether or not to believe the person you're talking to.
Yeah. So at least I always if I have any doubts, I'll get another opinion, and then the other rule is, don't go to the internet unless you're feeling very calm and detached.
Yes.
Because there's a ton of misinformation.
Well, and there's 4,000 things it could be with this list of 7 different symptoms that you have, right?
That's right. The symptoms. Yeah. It's like reading the drug monographs, the drug information sheet when you get prescribed a drug.
Yes.
You gotta have a strong
you're going to be worse off. You're going to be worse off when you're done than when you started.
It's not true, but it looks like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not used to. We don't live in a world anymore where there weren't antibiotics and where there weren't vaccines. But when I grew up, polio was, oh man, that my parents wouldn't let me go to the exhibition in Toronto, because every day they reported how many people came down with polio who had visited the exhibition. It was highly contagious.
Mm.
So
that was probably a good decision on their part.
Actually, it was my friend's parents who wouldn't let him go. My parents let me go, but they were happy if I didn't go. They didn't really stop me, but I recall not deciding not to go, I think. But it was such a huge thing, and they don't make him like Dr. Salk now. He had the biggest possible money making thing in his hands, and he just said, "Give it to the world."
Mm-hmm.
And so they eradicated it. Bing.
They eradicated it, but it still took them like 40 years, right?
In the various places, and then the Americans kind of reintroduced it by using it to catch Osama bin Laden and bragging about it. So they used a polio vaccination program to convince Osama bin Laden to let his children go in, and they got their DNA at that point, and they confirmed that it was him. But then someone wrote a book and bragged about the whole thing, which meant that polio teams in Pakistan started getting attacked and not being able to vaccinate, and then wild polio broke out in Pakistan. So, yeah, and then it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. They just wanted to. They were single-mindedly focused and not thinking of consequences. Yeah. Okay, enough history and everything. Anyways, good talking. So
Yep,
next week,
we will.
next week I'm feeling. Hopefully, I'll feel rejuvenated. So I'll just take it easy.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Good talking. We survived the holidays.
We did.
Okay. Later.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.